Hi everyone, it's Steph here from Chaos in the Craft Room. Thank you so much for joining me again today. Today I'm really excited to share with you Kendra's card challenge number 7, Steph's scrapbook edition. Now for this challenge you just need 6 pieces of pattern paper that are 12 by 12 inches in size, and we provide you with a free cutting list of how to cut them to create 15 scrapbook pages. Now Kendra's also got a fantastic video with some tips and tricks on how you can create these scrapbook pages, so make sure you check out her video as well. In my video today I'll show you how I cut down those pages and my scrapbook sketch number 1. And if you're interested, I've also got a part 2 video where I'll show you my scrapbook sketch number 2 through to 15. Now, if you like this video, I would love your support to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get started. So for this challenge, I decided to use the Painted Flowers paper by the brand Die Cuts with a View. And for those of you in Australia, you can easily get this brand at Spotlight. This brand doesn't come with matching die cuts, which always does make creating a lot quicker and easier. However, I'll give you a few quick tips along the way of how you can create your own embellishments out of the matching paper in the pack. So these are the papers that I've chosen to use for my challenge. And you see, you just have to pick 6 pieces of pattern paper. Ideally, the pattern paper doesn't have to be in a certain direction. And I always choose paper that is double-sided for these challenges, so you can use either side of the paper on the sketch. You'll also notice that these papers have a little circle in the top of the paper, and that's just from the way it is from the paper pack, but you just trim that off and then it makes the paper 12 by 12. So that's sort of the little extra bit from the booklet when you tear it out. So for each of the pages, when you cut them up, you need to make sure you get the first cut right. And that's highlighted by the scissors on the cutting list. And I'll show you in what order to do all those first cuts. So for paper A, this is the first most important cut. And then it makes all the following cuts after that nice and easy. And this is just the exact order that I've cut out the different pieces from the paper. However, if you just follow the cutting sketch, you should be fine. And so for now, for paper B, that's the very first important cut because you want it to go the full length of the sketch, and the rest of the cuts are quite easy. Okay, so for sketch C, the very first cut is right on the end there, the full length of the page. And then there's quite a few little extra cuts to do for this one. Now, once you've decided on what pattern paper you want to use, the following papers in the sketches are either plain paper or pattern paper, depending what you feel works best. Okay, so on to the next sketch. So this is sketch D. And this is the very first cut that I make and the following cuts after that. But if you accidentally make a wrong cut, look, that's okay too. You can always replace any of the pattern pieces of paper on your sketches with plain paper as well. And that can be if you've cut it the wrong way or you just don't think that pattern goes. And one really important tip here is to add the number in grey lead on the papers, and that way you don't forget what piece goes with what sketch. I also mark in grey lead if one of them's a flag, because that way I can cut that out at a later time point evenly to make sure my flags are even rather than rushing it straight away. Okay, so for paper E, this is the very first cut. And just a tip when you're writing down numbers 6 and 9, make sure you put a line under it to remember which way that number goes. That was a mistake that I have done previously. And for final paper F, so this is the first cut. And then in addition to labeling just the sketch pieces, I also label 15 plastic pockets, number 1 to 15. And then file that corresponding piece of paper that goes to the corresponding plastic pocket. So for example, if that corresponding piece that we've just cut out says number 1 on it, I'll place it in pocket number 1, and then when I go to do sketch number 1, I can just grab the plastic pocket that says number 1 on it. Today I'm going to show you how I've created my scrapbook page number 1, and then I've got a part 2 video where you can check out the rest of the sketches as well. So I've chosen what side I want to go to. I've picked out my 2 pieces of paper that have number 1 on it, and I've picked the current sides that are facing up as the pattern paper that I would like to use for sketch number 1. I then grab the other pieces of paper that I need for the sketch. Now these can be plain pieces of paper or pattern paper depending what you prefer. And for the extra strip of plain paper down the side, I'm actually using a leftover piece of paper. As you can see, it's got a hole in it, but I can see from the sketch design that this will be covered with a photo. So I always like using up my scraps when possible, and this is actually from the same paper pack, so I know it matches the color scheme perfectly. And then I stick them down ready to go. And just remember, since we are doing scrapbooking, it's best to use acid-free glue, or if you don't have any acid-free, or if you don't have much acid-free glue, you want to at least make sure that you're using acid-free glue for the photos and anything that overlaps or comes in contact with the photos. But ideally, all the glue is acid-free. Now, with these sketches, you can really use any size photos. And it's just a bit of a guide in the sketch, but obviously when you're scrapbooking, you want to pick the photos that match your holiday or trip or whatever you're scrapbooking. And so you can be as flexible as you want with the size photos that you use. But for this example that I'm showing you, I'm using the 4 inches by 6 inches photo as per the sketch design, just to show you how that looks. And here I've got the photo borders, and I've created them 1/4 of an inch larger than the actual photo size. And you can just adjust the border as per the photo size that you're using for your scrapbook page. Now this little sentiment has come from the same paper pack that I've just fussy cut. In this paper pack, there was 2 pieces of each pattern paper. So to create my extra little die cuts, one of the things that I do is I use the second piece of paper with the same design and just fussy cut out those images so it immediately goes with the page, with my scrapbook page. And it's one of the cheaper ways to create some extra little embellishments that suit that paper pack perfectly. So for those scrapbook pages that you want to use that don't have matching die cuts, or you just don't want to pay the extra for them, it's a really easy way to create matching die cuts for your page. But sometimes you want to, when you scrapbook, add your own personal messages or little notes to remember where you were or what day you were there. So something that I find really easy to use and quite a cheap way to add this to your pages, so you don't have to die cut all the different letters out, is by using a label maker. And so this is a really cheap design label maker that I'm using. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with this one, but there's lots of different types around. I just love the look that this one gives. It's like a 3D typewriter effect with the little sticker that it prints out. And so all you have to do when you want you choose the letter that you want, and there's a little arrow down at the bottom there, and you point that towards the letter that is corresponding on the wheel up the top, and you fully press the handle all the way down, and that creates an imprint. Or if you want to create a space between words, you only half press the handle, and that creates a space. And there are lots of different colored tapes you can always get with any label maker, but I love this one with the black with white writing for my scrapbooks. And of course, if you're creating any scrapbook pages with people in it, more than happy when you upload the images onto Kendra's Facebook page. You can just blur out people's faces if you want to for privacy reasons. That's perfectly fine. We just love seeing your design, and you can certainly do that, or any notes that you might have written onto the scrapbook page. I know that's why a lot of people don't post the scrapbook pages that they make, because you do add a lot of personal information into them, and that's what creates a really nice memory. So feel free to blur out any sections you want to blur out, but you definitely want to upload them onto Kendra's Facebook page because it gives you a chance of winning lots of incredible prizes. So highly recommend you check that out, and I do have the link below in the description box. So I would love for you to do that, and I would also love to see what designs you have created. So this is my final page, and I've had a lot of fun creating it. I find that these designs and sketches make it so much easier to scrapbook, because when I start off with 2 photos and I think, how am I going to create this scrapbook page, sometimes I feel a bit lost with where to start, where these sketches create a really easy base of where to start, and then you can just add to those pages from that and decorate them the way you want to. So I really hope you've enjoyed these, and just remember, I do have a part 2 of this video which shows you the rest of the sketches. I just wanted to show you one to start with, to show you the process and to see if you're interested. So please feel free to check out my part 2 video, and also remember to check out Kendra's video as well. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and if you have, I would love your support to hit the like and subscribe button, and I would love to see what scrapbook pages you've created. So make sure when you upload them or post them anywhere, you use the hashtags shown below so I can also see what you've created. And don't forget to upload them onto Kendra's Facebook page for your chance to win some prizes. And head straight over to Kendra's YouTube channel now to check out her tips and tricks, and I can't wait to see you next time.